It started when I came home from college for the summer. I was looking forward to some peace, hanging with family, maybe reconnecting with old friends, doing nothing for a few months. But from the moment I stepped into the house, I could tell something had shifted. It wasn't obvious. It was a subtle air. The kind of change you don't notice until it settles on your skin and makes it itch. Mom greeted me first, hugged me tight. Longer than usual, actually. Her perfume was the same, lavender with a hint of something floral, but the hug felt different. She looked good. Too good, honestly. Hair curled, makeup done, nails perfect. It wasn't like her to be so done up on a weekday, especially just lounging at home. I asked if we were expecting guests. She laughed and said no, just trying something new. Then came Aaron, my stepbrother. We weren't close, but we'd grown up in the same house since we were 10. He was always the golden child. Charming, athletic, great with people. My mom adored him, so much so that people sometimes thought he was her biological son, not me. He greeted me with that same smirk I'd seen 1,000 times. But when Mom turned to look at him, something passed between them, a glance that felt like more than just family. I told myself I was reading into it. We ate dinner together. Mom had made all of Aaron's favorite dishes. She asked about his gym, his protein intake, if he was still seeing that girl from the dance studio. Barely asked me about school. When I mentioned passing my hardest class, she gave me a short "that's nice, honey," before turning back to Aaron to ask about his bench press max. I kept smiling, but I was watching. Over the next week, I started noticing more. The way she touched his shoulder when she walked past him. The way her voice softened when she spoke to him. One morning, I came down for breakfast, and she was already in the kitchen, standing way too close to him. Her hand on his lower back as she reached over him for a mug. He didn't flinch. They didn't even notice me come in. One night, I was watching TV in the living room and heard them laughing upstairs. A soft giggle from Mom, low murmuring. It was close to midnight. I turned the volume down and sat still listening. Footsteps passed my room later, hers first, then his, a few minutes apart. That same night, I went to get water and saw her bedroom door was cracked open. The sheets were messy, like someone had been rolling around in them. I figured maybe she had trouble sleeping. It was all these little things. Not enough to accuse. Just enough to disturb. Aaron started acting differently too. Confident in a way I hadn't seen before. Almost cocky. He'd walk around shirtless, even when it was cold. Mom never said anything. Once, I walked into the kitchen and found him drinking juice straight from the bottle. She was standing there, watching him, smiling like he was a little boy again. But he wasn't. He was a man. And she looked at him like she knew it. I started keeping track of things. I felt crazy, like I was the only one seeing this weird dance. I asked my dad about it on a phone call. He and Mom divorced when I was 9. He laughed it off. Your mom always loved attention. Don't overthink it. One day, I walked in on Aaron coming out of her bedroom. He was barefoot, shirtless, and drying his hair with a towel. He stopped when he saw me and didn't say a word. Just raised an eyebrow and walked past me like nothing had happened. Mom came out 2 minutes later, wearing a different outfit than earlier. Her hair was wet. I didn't say anything that time either. Then there was that time I caught them in the kitchen. I came in through the back door, and they didn't hear me. Aaron was behind her. His hands were on her waist. They were dancing to music, playing low on her phone. Her eyes were closed. It looked intimate. I stepped back before they saw me and waited outside until I heard footsteps leave. When I came in, only Mom was there, humming to herself. That night I had a dream about them. A disturbing one. I woke up angry, confused, like I was losing my grip on what was real. I told myself to let it go, that I'd be gone by August, that none of this mattered if I didn't look too closely. But I couldn't stop watching. I started sleeping with my earbuds out, volume low. I started taking late walks to see if I'd catch anything again. One night, I noticed Aaron sneaking into the hallway from her room. He had socks in his hand. He looked at me, didn't flinch, just kept walking. The door slowly closed behind him. It was the look in his eyes that really got to me. Smug. Like he knew I knew. Like he wanted me to see. I stopped sleeping. Started drinking too much coffee just to stay alert. My friend said I looked pale when I saw them. I told them I was dealing with family stress. They didn't ask questions. I started dreading meals, dreading coming downstairs. I even avoided the living room because I was afraid of seeing them on the couch together again. Too close, too comfortable. I started counting the seconds when they were alone. How long they stayed in a room. What time they went upstairs. Whether she changed her clothes after being alone with him. It all kept piling up. But the worst part wasn't what I saw. It was the way she looked at me now. Like I was an inconvenience. Like I didn't belong here anymore. I started locking my door at night. Not because I was scared of them, but because I couldn't stand the sounds anymore. Low murmurs. Light footsteps. A door creaking open. A muffled moan that made my stomach twist. I told myself it could have been anything. A movie. A nightmare. Something innocent. But deep down, I knew. The following week, I stopped trying to rationalize it. One afternoon, I came home early from a friend's house. The car wasn't in the driveway, so I assumed no one was home. As I stepped in, I heard voices upstairs. Hers and his. Low, breathy, and weirdly playful. I crept halfway up the stairs and heard her laugh, a soft, drawn-out sound I hadn't heard from her in years. It was followed by silence. Then a thud. Then another. I backed down before they could hear me and sat in the living room, pretending I had just come in. 20 minutes later, they came downstairs. Both looked relaxed. Erin's shirt was wrinkled. Mom had lipstick smudged at the edge of her mouth. Neither said a word to me. That night, I tried to confront her. I asked if she and Erin were close, like really close. She narrowed her eyes and smiled. He's my son. What are you asking? I shrugged it off like it was just a stupid question. But I caught the flicker in her eyes, the pause between her words. She was calculating something. Erin became harder to be around. His confidence turned into arrogance. He stopped pretending. He'd walk around in just a towel after showers. Sit too close to Mom at dinner. Brush her hair out of her face casually while she giggled like a teenager. He'd stare at me while doing it, like he was daring me to say something. I wanted to punch him. I wanted to scream at her. But I didn't. I couldn't. Not yet. I thought maybe I was losing my mind, so I tried to talk to one of my cousins. I told her there was tension in the house. She asked what kind. I said, the kind that feels wrong. She laughed it off. Your mom's always been dramatic. No one wanted to hear what I wasn't sure how to say. One evening, Mom asked me to pick up groceries. I forgot her whine. When I came back, Erin was pouring her a glass from the bottle we weren't supposed to open. She was on the couch, legs over his lap. He was rubbing her feet like it was normal. I stood there for a second too long. She looked over and smiled like nothing was out of place. Everything okay, honey? I started keeping my phone nearby, at all times. I wanted proof. Something I could show. Something undeniable. I considered installing a camera in the hallway, but felt sick just thinking about it. What would I do if I caught something real? Then it happened. I was in the garage looking for something, and I found an old phone. Mom's. From a few years ago. Dead, buried under old boxes. Curiosity got the best of me. I charged it in my room and waited. When it powered up, I started going through it. Messages, photos, call logs. Most of it was boring. But there was a hidden folder in her gallery. Nothing labeled, just file numbers. The first few images were harmless. Family trips. Birthdays. But then there were selfies, mirror shots of her in lingerie. Some were clearly taken in her room. One had Erin's shoes visible in the background. Another had a reflection of a hand on her waist. Then came the videos. One started with giggling. Her voice sang, "Don't film me, you're bad." Then her face. Then his. Shirtless. Both laughing. I paused it. Closed the phone. My hands were shaking. I didn't know if I wanted to watch the rest. But I did. Because I needed the truth. I needed to stop guessing. It was unmistakable. They were kissing. Passionately. Not like family. Not like anything that could be explained away. She was saying his name like she was in love. like he belonged to her in a way I never did. I dropped the phone. My body was shaking with rage and confusion
and disgust.
I wanted to confront her immediately, but I didn't. Instead, I waited for Aaron to get home. I wanted to see his face. When he walked in, I asked him directly, "How long has it been going on?" He didn't even flinch, just stared at me. Then he smiled, smug, slow. "You should mind your business." I asked him again, this time louder. He stepped closer. "She loves me in ways she never loved your dad. Or you." It felt like something inside me cracked. I asked if Dad knew. Aaron shrugged. Maybe. He was never man enough to keep her happy. I almost hit him. My fists were clenched so tight they hurt. But I walked away. Mom found me in the backyard hours later. She acted like nothing happened. Asked if I wanted dinner. I told her no. She tilted her head and said, "You look tired, baby." I couldn't even answer. That night, I didn't sleep. Every memory I had of her started to rot. Every moment that used to feel warm now felt fake. Her birthday hugs. Her bedtime stories. Her kisses on the forehead. All of it tainted. It wasn't just about sex. It was the betrayal. The secrecy. The way she looked at me now like I was a stranger in my own house. And Aaron, he reveled in it. Every chance he got, he'd smirk, throw his arm around her, call her mommy, with this gross edge in his voice. She'd giggle, pretend to scold him, but never push him away. I stopped eating dinner with them. I stayed out late just to avoid the silence of this twisted home. Every time I came back, I braced myself. For what, I wasn't sure, but I was certain it wasn't over. I knew I was close to breaking. And they knew it too. I stopped pretending. There was no point in playing normal anymore. I kept my distance, kept quiet, but every second in that house felt like a slow death. I waited for a moment, something concrete.
And it came.
I was looking for a charger in the junk drawer in Mom's study when I found a small USB drive. No label. Nothing written on it. I don't know why I took it. Maybe I already knew. I plugged it into my laptop later that night, alone in my room. There were 6 video files, all dated within the last 3 months. The titles were generic, 001, 002, and so on. I clicked the first one. At first it was black. Then the image cleared. Her room. Aaron lying back on the bed, shirtless. Mom standing by the dresser in a silk robe. She walks over, climbs on top of him. They kiss. Passionately. Not playful, not teasing, real.
Deep.
Her hands move to his chest. His to her thighs. I shut the laptop so fast I almost cracked the screen. My heart was pounding so hard I felt it in my throat. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I sat still, staring at the wall. The air sucked out of the room. My mother and my stepbrother were lovers. Fully, unapologetically, repeatedly. I forced myself to open the rest. I needed to know if it was a one-time thing. It wasn't. The other videos were worse. More intimate. Talking between them. Laughing. Her calling him baby. Telling him she missed him. That she couldn't sleep when he wasn't next to her. She looked at him the way I always wished she looked at me. With pride, with adoration. In one video, she tells him she's glad I'm home. It makes it more exciting. He replies, "Do you think he suspects anything?" She laughs. He's always been slow. I wanted to break something. I wanted to run. Instead, I copied everything. All 6 videos. I backed them up to a private folder on the cloud. Then I deleted them from the USB and left it exactly where I found it. The next day, I confronted Aaron again.
I didn't ask.
I told him I knew. I told him I saw everything. He leaned against the wall, arms crossed, like he'd been waiting for this moment. "So," he said, like it didn't matter. I asked him why. "Why, Mom? Why ruin everything?"
She wanted it, he said.
"She started it. Don't act like I forced anything." I asked how long. He said, "Since I turned 18. That was over 3 years ago." My world shifted. All the things I'd questioned for so long, her mood swings, the way she ignored me, the coldness, They all made sense. I asked if she ever loved my dad. He laughed. She called him boring.
Weak.
Said she only stayed with him because of you. He walked away like it was nothing. I didn't talk to her right away. I avoided her for 2 days. She noticed. She came to my room the third night. Sat on my bed, like nothing was wrong. Asked me why I was being distant. I stared at her. Told her I knew. I said it calm.
Quiet.
I saw the videos. She froze. For the first time in weeks, she looked scared. Then, slowly, she tried to smile. It's complicated, she whispered. I asked her how she could do this. With him. Her stepson. My brother.
She said it wasn't about me.
That I wouldn't understand. That love is strange. That what they had was real. I told her she was sick.
She didn't argue.
Just looked at me like she pitied me. You've always been so rigid. So judgmental. I told her she needed help. She told me to grow up.
We didn't speak the next day.
I started packing that night. Before I left, I checked the camera app I'd installed in the hallway the week before. Motion triggered.
Silent.
That night, at 2:14 a.m., I got an alert. I watched them. Him coming out of her room, kissing her on the cheek, her saying, "Lock your door, baby." I saved it. Then I left the next morning without saying goodbye. No note. No explanation. I stayed with a friend across town. I didn't tell anyone the truth. Not yet. But I started therapy. I told the therapist bits and pieces. She asked why I didn't call the police. I didn't know what to say. There was no crime, technically, just something broken. Something rotted at the core. I started having dreams, messed up ones. About my childhood. About birthdays where I was ignored, where Aaron got everything. They made more sense now. I called Dad. Asked him if he ever felt like Mom kept secrets. He said, she always had walls. Asked if he thought she loved Aaron more than me. He didn't answer right away. Then he said, I think she loved him differently.
I didn't know what that meant then.
I still don't. But I knew I'd never step foot in that house again. 3 months passed. I didn't call. I didn't visit. I ignored every message, every half-hearted voicemail. The silence became my comfort. I moved in with 2 roommates from college who didn't ask too many questions. I focused on school, work, staying distracted. But nothing really erased it. The weight of what I'd seen still sat in my chest like a stone. It was late October when Mom finally showed up. At my place. She waited outside the building, didn't even try to come in. I saw her through the window, pacing, hugging herself like she didn't know what to say. I thought about not going down, but curiosity won. I met her outside, arms folded, walls up. She looked thinner, tired. No makeup, no fake smile. She asked if I'd talk. I didn't speak. She took that as permission. She told me Aaron had moved out. Said he'd found a place with friends, wanted to explore his own life. I asked if she missed him. She looked down and said nothing. I asked if she regretted it. She finally looked me in the eye and said, I don't regret loving someone, but I regret hurting you. I almost laughed. I asked if she ever thought about how that love twisted everything. She nodded, but the way she said it felt hollow, like she was just checking off a box. She asked if I'd ever come home again. I told her there was no home left for me in that house. She teared up, reached out, and I stepped back. She left quietly after that. I didn't watch her walk away. A week later, I got an email. From Aaron.
Short.
No subject line. Just one sentence. You're never going to be strong enough to face what you really are. I stared at it for a long time. Deleted it. Blocked him. I didn't need his voice in my head anymore. Still, something shifted after that. I started journaling. Every memory. Every detail. It helped me make sense of the chaos. I began to realize how long this had been building. How much of my life had been shaped by their secret. How much I'd excused. Ignored. Repressed. There were signs even when we were younger, how Mom treated him like a man before he even hit puberty. How she'd laugh at his crude jokes but scold me for the smallest slip-up. How she always blamed me for tension in the house, even when I did everything right. She shaped him, enabled him, loved him in a way that had no boundaries. And I was always just on the sidelines, watching them orbit each other like I was never meant to fit in. I didn't realize how angry I still was until I saw her name flash across my screen again, this time a text. Just one word, sorry.
I didn't respond.
Not because I didn't want closure, but because I finally accepted I wouldn't get it from her. I applied for an internship in another state. I needed distance. Not just physically, but emotionally. I needed a clean break. When I got accepted, I packed my things without telling anyone. I left my roommates a note, and my mom nothing. I changed my number. New city. New people. New air. It helped.
Slowly.
I stopped waking up with that ache in my chest. I stopped checking her social media. I stopped wondering if they were still in contact. That part of my life became a closed door. Not erased, but sealed. A year later, I heard from a mutual friend that Aaron had gotten into a car accident. Nothing fatal, just enough to shake him up. Apparently, he'd moved back home temporarily. With her. I felt sick for a minute. Then nothing. Just silence. I didn't reach out. I didn't care. Time passed. I dated.
Casually.
But every time someone got too close, I pulled back. I couldn't explain why. Intimacy felt like something dangerous. Something that could turn, twist, poison everything around it. I didn't want to hurt someone the way they hurt me. I started therapy again. More intense this time. Dug into my past, my trust issues, the way I learned to swallow my feelings just to survive. One day, my therapist asked me what forgiveness looked like. I told her I didn't believe in it. Not for them. Not for what they did. She asked, "Then what do you want?" I said, "Peace." She smiled. "That's not the same as forgiveness. It's better." So I started building peace. Brick by brick. I let myself grieve the version of my mom I thought I had. I mourned the brother I never really knew. I let go of the idea that I could have stopped any of it. I still get flashbacks sometimes. A smell, a sound, an old photo. It all comes rushing back. But it doesn't choke me anymore. It passes. Last week, I saw a message request from her. New account. Different profile photo. All it said was, "I hope you're okay. I still think about you." I stared at it. Closed it.
Didn't delete it this time.
But I didn't reply. Some ghosts are quieter when you let them speak into the void. Now I live alone.
My space.
My rules. I don't look over my shoulder anymore. I don't brace myself for footsteps outside my door. I know who I am now. I'm not the scared kid in the hallway. I'm not the invisible son. I'm not the secret. I'm free. And that's enough.